this next Sunday, not tomorrow, the other one of 9th.
Okay. So welcome to today's discussion. We are Skeptic and Atheist Society of Kenya. So our topic today of discussion is about the conspiracy, the real conspiracy, and we are going to focus with the medical, government, and the corporate. So, and before we dive, most of us, or majority of us, we are skeptic, or we are critical thinker. So we are going to establish a clear baseline. Skeptic shouldn't mean blind trust. So we are not going to trust things blindly, but we are going to analyze, to think, and do research or confirm to avoid any kind of the false information. And we should, as a critical thinker, we want to look at the line between verifiable and historical conspiracy. So I want us to start with the definition of conspiracy, because without knowing the definition, we cannot be able to discuss fully about this conspiracy. So I want people to raise their hand. We just get 2 or 3 people to give us the definition, what they understand about the conspiracy. Then we can continue. Yeah, Murioki?
Okay, thanks. Is it a plan to do something, bad, something that's not good?
So conspiracy is planning to do something that is not good.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
my view. Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah, yes, Dorcas.
Okay, my understanding of a conspiracy, at least according to the dictionary definition, is that it is what Morioki said partly captures the definition, but he has missed. Let me see if I can turn on my video. Oh, good. He has missed a crucial key word in that definition, which is that it is a secret to plan to do something bad. Yeah. Let me just read out the definition I found from the dictionary. It's a secret plan, an illegal plot, or a hidden agreement by 2 or more people to do something bad, harmful, or unlawful. For example, I think 2 weeks ago, is it a week ago, there's a case, I listened to a case on Tuko TV, which involved a man that said his wife and children made false allegations against him about him threatening her with weapons, assaulting her with weapons and stuff like that. Yet she had no evidence whatsoever. And in fact, she ended up transferring his property that was under his name to herself and the children. So that was a conspiracy by his wife and his children to what is the word I need there, to depossess him of his property. Yeah. So in summary, a conspiracy is a secret plan or a hidden plot by one or more, not by one, it must be two or more people. But in this particular discussion, going by the subtopics, corporate, medical, and government, we are limiting it to groups of people rather than the individual ones. Now, like that example, the court example I gave of that gentleman on Tuko TV who lost his property to his wife, who secretly conspired with his kids to change the titles in his absence. So yeah, that's my understanding of conspiracy. And there's a very big distinction between a conspiracy, a real conspiracy, and a conspiracy theory. I don't know if the moderator intended to ask that question. Maybe I can float it to the members. What is the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy in your book? Thank you.
Yeah, that is great. Anyone else who have the different or the just to back up? We are still defining the real conspiracy, the meaning, or not just the meaning of conspiracy. Okay. If none, we can proceed to give the example of the real conspiracy that happened in the government, medical, and let's start with the medical. The conspiracy that you might have heard in a medical sector category, and what is your intake about it, or how do those manipulations happen about the medical in the medical sector? So according to what we have understood, conspiracies are just a plan made by two or more people to cause harm or for the selfish gain. So yeah, Eston.
Okay, so you talk about the conspiracies that we hear on the medical part
Yes.
of this. Okay, I don't know if I think it is common where people say that some of the medicines that doctors use, these medicines are not meant to cure you, but they are meant to make you come back another time. They're not meant to cure you completely. They might cure you, but some of them they come with side effects that will make you go back to the doctor with another problem. So it's just a conspiracy. That's why there are some people unless they are critically sick, they never go to hospital. If they are like you have a cough or a or what is this called? This common cold, cough or your what is it called? Your somewhere here in your neck it is blocked. I don't know the name is evading me. But when they are sick of these common diseases, they use alternatives. Maybe they're told drink a lime water with lime, or drink ginger water with the tea that has a lot of ginger, or that all the exercise make your body be more active instead of going to hospital because of some of these conspiracies. Yeah.
According to you, is there any real things about those, or where do they get information from, or maybe they have done some investigation?
No, there is no investigation that they have. They
Okay.
just noticed that. I don't know if when I went, like
So it's just a
10
false
people.
accusation. Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 people might go to hospital with the same problem, and they get treated with the same medicine, but then 8 they never come back, but 2 or 1 comes back with another problem, and they assume that it was a side effect of the drug that they were given by the hospital. So they start forming these conspiracies.
Yeah, that is great. So
Yeah.
what we have heard from Eston is that there is conspiracy that when you are given medicine not to cure you, but to make you addictive, or to seek medication next time. So I give you a medicine in a way that it will not fully cure you, but it will make you my customer for the next time. So let's hear from Dorcas.
I still long to hear from the members the distinction between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy. It's very important for us to understand those differences. So please, guys, answer my question. Now, on medical conspiracies, real medical conspiracy, the poster child for this category is the Tuskegee syphilis study. In let me see the year. Yeah, in 1932, between 1932 to 1972, the Tuskegee University recruited 201 men who already had syphilis, in fact, syphilis that exhibited symptoms, not the one that was just detected, but was hidden. No, the one that had open symptoms. They recruited those men and they let them stay untreated. They deceived them about the purpose of the study, and they paid them. They told them that it's for blood sickness, that it's damu chafu or something like that. But then when they held them in the study, or they admitted them in the study, they were doing something else. So they violated basic rules of ethical research or ethical medical research. Anything that involves human subjects ought to have very high standards of practice. So they violated those principles, and some of these men died from the dire effects of syphilis. Other men had really severe symptoms, including dementia, because you can go mad when you have late stage syphilis. And they continued to infect other people, women that they were associating with. So the disease continued to spread because of this conspiracy by Tuskegee University. And in fact, it contributed, it's very harmful. These real conspiracies by powerful institutions are very harmful because they affect people's attitudes towards medicine. You know, we need medical interventions, but if you perceive it negatively, if you mistrust it because of a valid reason like that, then you won't get much help. This is the reason why in the African American community, many people are mistrustful of medics, because they're like, you guys just used us and you let us die during that study. Another conspiracy theory also happened in the previous century. In the 1950s, there was this drug called thalidomide. Thalidomide. It's a sedative designed to treat morning sickness in pregnant women. And it was administered everywhere, globally, actually. Unfortunately, it had dire side effects that made the women, the pregnant women who took it, give birth to children with severe deformities. Yeah, it was a massive medical scandal. And of course, the drug was withdrawn, but it fueled, again, suspicion towards the industry. Then now what Nani El Maestro was talking about, that one, flu medication, maybe is small beer. The one that has attracted a lot of accusations is antidepressants, because antidepressants are often peddled as a wonder drug. And this is because the medics who prescribe them as the first line of defense often oversimplify medical health illnesses. Okay, they describe depression or anxiety or mood disorders as being just a chemical imbalance. Yet, remember that discussion we had about mental health? We talked about how mental health is a combination of environmental challenges. You know, maybe you had childhood trauma, maybe you've gone through an adverse life event, maybe a loved one has passed on, you are in an accident, or you've been perpetually unemployed. You know, there are those stresses that you have which are fueling your depression. So just giving you an antidepressant will not solve those environmental causes of the condition. And sometimes, of course, there might be genetic predispositions to those mental health conditions. So I feel like the conspiracy there comes in when antidepressants are peddled as the ideal solution, yet they have all of these side effects, including addiction, or dependence on them. Like, you can't discontinue. If you get off the drug, the symptoms return, and sexual dysfunction, people report erectile dysfunction, or women just lose interest in sex completely, emotional numbness, and all these challenges. Yet they are downplayed by some medics, not all, by some medics. So let me leave it there. Please answer my question, guys, on the difference between conspiracy theories and conspiracies. Thank you.
Yeah, that is great. So we are discussing about the real conspiracy. So for the definition for real conspiracy is the evidence base. So it's conspiracy that is evidence based. So you have evidence of a certain crime. Two or three people have planned for a certain crime or for a certain misinformation for their personal gain or for other motive. So when we have the evidence, enough evidence to back up, maybe through journalists, maybe they got the audio from the government official talking about those things or planning for those crime, or medical, you have found that evidence of a certain drug doing this and this. So those after evidence, when we get the evidence, the enough evidence, that is where we call them as real conspiracy. But for the conspiracy theory, just a speculation, just hearsay without evidence. Until when we get the evidence, we will no longer be conspiracy theory, but we will be a real conspiracy because we have a backup. That is according to what I can understand about the difference between real conspiracy versus conspiracy theory. So, Murioki, you want to contribute something before we move on?
We explained about the theory, the conspiracy. Yeah? So maybe a theory is one that's not real. Like Corona. When Corona came, there were so many things about Corona. It's not there. It's something fake. It's made up. So now Corona is a good example of a conspiracy theory. It was like a trick to make money. They use Corona to make money for themselves. In fact, some people got rich from Corona. Some people got very rich from Corona. Yeah, thanks.
I don't know whether I'm the one I'm not understanding. You mean?
Yeah. I'm giving Corona, this Corona condition, Corona, the disease. It was like people are saying that it was a trick. Some people are saying it wasn't real. That it was a trick to make money for some people. And some people got rich. There's some people who became rich from Corona. So that's a theory, because the debate that was it real or not real. You get?
So the people speculate or give the conspiracy so that they may gain money, or
yes, yeah.
What do you mean?
The people who are saying Corona. Okay, I don't agree, but some people are saying Corona was a trick to make money. This Corona thing.
So I'm asking, which people gain financially? Are those who oppose Corona was not real, or were those who say Corona was real?
Those who are saying it's real, because they were funded, they got money. Some people got rich.
The people who spread the conspiracy are the one who oppose the Corona was real.
Yeah, those who are saying it was real are those who got money. They were paid. They were funded. They got money to contain it.
I think still I'm not understanding. Which group were part of conspiracy? The one who opposed Corona, or the one who say Corona was real?
The ones who say it's real. The ones who are saying it's real got money. They got money to control it. But people think it's a trick because they got very rich. Some people got very rich.
Okay. Is that a conspiracy theory or a real conspiracy, according to you?
Yeah, because now some people, okay, I'll say I don't know, because some people say they died. There are people who died from Corona. There were actual deaths from Corona. So it's like, okay, for me, I'll say I think Corona was real. Then people took advantage of the situation. It was real, then people took advantage. Yeah.
So those who get rich, they were not part of conspiracy.
Okay, it was on TV, Stano. I said on TV.
Yeah,
so
that is the point. It's like, for example, we discover there is malaria. So if I get rich because of that malaria by treating the sick people or by selling the drugs of malaria, will that mean I'm part of conspiracy? No. The one who will oppose there is no malaria will be the one bringing conspiracy, not me who is benefiting.
Okay, so even the vaccine, remember? Okay, even the corona injection, there are vaccines for corona. They were fake. Some people are saying that they were fake vaccines. They were just for the sake of it. Those vaccines weren't real. Remember the vaccines? I think there were two vaccines.
Yeah, and that is why we are focusing with the real conspiracy. The real conspiracy is where there is evidence base to confirm that was a crime. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyone who can add about that, about the medical category, the real conspiracy about the medical category? Okay. So I think this is also a healthy concern. What can we say about the conspiracy about are they real or just a theory about the plastic rice, because also under the medical category or the health hazard, about the plastic rice, plastic egg, and also the GMO food. Are they real conspiracy or just a theory? Or what can we say? Is evidence-based or no evidence, in short? Yes, Morioki?
Yeah, I'll talk of for GMO. For GMO, since I'm a farmer, they can't be natural. If you compare them to a natural thing, I'm sure there's a difference. They can't be the same because they're done like GMO. They're modified, so they can't be the same as the
pardon, Morioki. Sorry for that.
I'm saying GMO. GMO.
Morioki. Yeah, I want to clarify. We are not talking whether it's natural or unnatural. We are talking about the conspiracy about GMO are causing harm to our body. Is it a real conspiracy, or there is no evidence to prove GMO cause harm to our body, or is a health hazard? The same case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no evidence. But just by thinking, they can't be the same as the original. They can't be the same as the original one. So I have no evidence. Yeah, they have. But I suspect there's an effect, but I have no evidence.
Okay, fine. So we can also hear from others. What do you think about the conspiracy about the plastic rice, plastic egg, and even maybe GMO? I think we have dealt with the vaccination. So just very fast so that we're able to move to the other part because of the time. Yes, Dorcas? Oh, sorry, Dorcas, is your chance?
Oh, I was waiting for your go ahead. Now, we once invited a gentleman, a research expert, a biologist, to talk to us about GMOs. And his consensus or his main line of argument is that GMOs are not harmful to our bodies. They're not. That was what he was saying. Even though some of us were still skeptical. You see what Morioki was talking about, it being natural. I think that is an argument from nature fallacy. Not everything that is natural is always good, because we have some volcanoes that emit hot molten lava, which can kill you, and it's natural. Yeah, so there are natural things that are sometimes problematic. Okay, even diseases, pathogens are natural. They are found in the air, in the water. They were not caused by anybody. They are natural, but they are harmful to us. So by and large, there is, for me, I still objected to GMOs, not necessarily because of the biological harm that is done to us. For me, it was the threat to food independence, because the suppliers of GMO seeds normally patent their product, and they tell you that you cannot replant. You cannot keep the seed and replant it. You have to go back to the company and buy new seeds. And then they also have laws against interpollination with neighboring plantations. So they make you dependent on the GMO supplier. So I think there the conspiracy theory would fall under the category of corporate, where they're putting their own profit interests above the farmers' well-being. the farmer needs to have food independence, but if they have to keep going to buy the seed from the supplier every single time, then it's financially limiting. Now, the one about plastic rice and plastic eggs, to be honest, I don't have a lot of information about it, so I don't want to speak from a point of ignorance. I will look it up after this meeting to just give people a proper answer, a correct one. I wanted to answer my own question on the difference between conspiracies, real conspiracies, and conspiracy theories. Yes, I echo the moderator's sentiments. I believe that the main difference between a conspiracy theory and a real conspiracy, is the conspiracy theory is unverified. It's unsupported by evidence. Usually, the conspiracy theorists rely on anecdotes, stories people have said here and there, or they can cite an expert, but the expert is usually cut off, like the things the expert said were taken out of context when somebody is spreading a conspiracy theory. So you do not want to be a conspiracy theory. That's how you start saying that the moon landing was fake, that the earth is flat, or that vaccines cause autism. And that one, many Kenyans, I'm realizing, are falling for that conspiracy theory. It has been debunked. There is no link between vaccines and autism. Now, the real conspiracy, on the other hand, is verified with evidence. And the evidence often comes from multiple sources. You find, like the Holocaust, the mass genocide, the mass murder or genocide of the Jews. That was a conspiracy, a real conspiracy by the Nazi regime. And evidence of this, because by the way, they tried to cover it up. But evidence of this was from multiple sources. There was physical evidence of mass graves, okay? Even though they had tried to cremate, to incinerate the bodies, they couldn't do it for all the dead Jews. The scale was too large, so they couldn't cover it all up. They found mass graves, mass bodies, mass graves, yeah. And then they also found evidence of a paper trail from the government, even though they used to use euphemisms for the extermination, for orders to exterminate. Adolf Hitler never used to mention it directly. He used to use euphemisms. And then there were also survivor confessions. Escape from Sobibor. There were some Jews that ran away from that concentration camp. And they talked about the horrors that were going on in those places. And then we also had the perpetrators, some Nazi officers who confessed to the crimes. So there are multiple sources of evidence that show you a conspiracy took place. There was a secret plan to exterminate the Jews and to hide the evidence. So that's the distinction. That's the distinction between a conspiracy and a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is hearsay. It's unfounded. The real conspiracy has concrete evidence. Thank you.
Yeah, that is great. So anyone who have something to say before we move on about the plastic rice, plastic egg, and the GMO? Are they real conspiracy, or there is no evidence to back up? Okay, Morioki?
Yeah, I want to tell Dorcas, please don't compare food and volcanoes. Kindly, eh? Don't compare food with volcanoes. Thanks.
Okay, fine. But Morioki, I think you understand how the example or analogy work. So when I give a example or illustration, does
But
not
food,
mean I should use. For example, if I'm giving illustration of a table, does not mean I should only use the table to illustrate a table. I can use a chair or a bucket to illustrate a table.
but GMO is food, Stano. GMO is food. Food is something we eat, but volcanoes are dangerous. They have gases. Volcanoes are dangerous, but food isn't. Food is for
Okay,
consumption.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But Dorcas was just trying to illustrate about the natural and unnatural. Things that are natural and things that are not natural. So when I refer about human are natural, then I refer cow are natural. You cannot tell me I should not compare human and cow. If you are
But
comparing about what is natural. Yeah.
Choose volcanoes.
Okay.
Choose volcanoes. Choose volcanoes can't go with food. No way.
But it's also
Food and
natural.
volcanoes can't go.
I am fine.
Volcanoes
Fine.
can't.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe next time she will use a good illustration. Yeah. Anyone else want to comment about that? So what I can say about the plastic rice and the plastic egg, because these are very widespread in social media, TikTok, and YouTube, even they illustrate how the plastic rice is being manufactured. Practically, it is impossible to sell a plastic rice because you will use a lot of money. For you to make maybe 1 kg, you will use maybe 2,000 to manufacture a plastic rice. And yet, when you get the price of rice per kg is below 200 cedis. So when do you manufacture plastic rice that will cost you more than 2,000 only to sell it less than 200? So that is an economical wise, unwise. It's unwise economically. The same case, the plastic will just float on water. So you cannot even cook. So you find those conspiracy are not making any sense. Yeah.
Stano, but then it might be, as you said, as a conspiracy is a secret plan to. It might be, yes, I don't know, it's costing 2,000 and they come and sell it at 200, but now their aim is to, some people
destroy.
can claim their aim is to reduce the population through the Bill Gates Foundation or so, things like those.
Yeah, I
don't know.
understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that can work. So, but there is no any evidence. But practically, because those who claim about the conspiracy, they are trying to even to take the video from the manufacturer that are recycling the plastic, those plastic pirates. They claim those are the rice. About the egg, the company that are manufacturing in something else, they claim it's a plastic egg and so on. But evidence-based, we don't have. If we have the evidence of a plastic egg or plastic rice, then we can understand that because economically it's impossible to make a profit from that. So we can just say the person have intention to make this rice look be a plastic so that he may be able to maybe to destroy a certain company or a certain industry because they want maybe to gain the market. But if so far we don't have any kind of that evidence to prove there is a plastic rice or whether a GMO is harmful. I think we should go now to the government. The real conspiracy in government. I think there is many examples. So let's come to the government. What are the real conspiracy you know about the government? And here we are not talking about only the government of Kenya, but any government in the world, or the conspiracy that you have ever had or you have about any government in the world, even if it's UN. Or we are fearing to comment about the government. So, Eston?
Okay, about the conspiracies about the government is usually like, I don't know, people saying the government here, it is controlled by very few people who are more powerful than the president inside the country and outside the country. So I don't know the president or they are just puppets, but they are being controlled by other more powerful people than him. I also hear conspiracies that what is it called? The IMF, yes. The IMF, the one that the government, I don't know, borrows from, is the one that controls how the government spends. Things like those, but I cannot ascertain if it is true or not true. Some people trying because I've had many times people trying to defend the failures of the government, of the president like Ruto or Uhuru, claiming that there is nothing they can do because they are being controlled by other powerful sources. Yeah,
Yeah, that is good.
Mm.
Yeah, about the international money fund. Is it called international money fund? Yes, it just control in a certain in a way that if you borrow money for a certain project, they make sure that money is being used in that project. So it's not just controlling how the government should do, or just controlling for them to get a certain benefit, but it's controlling in a fair way or in a justice way, so that money can do the work that it was intended to do. And like the other kind of loans that the government borrow. They can borrow for a certain thing, but they safety it. But for IMF, they try to make sure they try to regulate. Although they are not perfect, but that is how they claim. They try to regulate. Although when we hear them, the international trying to regulate our money or the money that we borrow, people end up with those negative thoughts. But according to what I understand, they try to regulate to make sure the money is not shifted to other project, but to the specific project that it was purpose to do. So let's hear from Rashid.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? My mic might be having a problem.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Thank you. So mine actually, Stano, is a quick question before I say something, and it's based on I'm finding myself being conflicted on what a conspiracy is, because I do believe, well, probably it might be a conspiracy as well, that all conspiracies should simply be under same category, whether you can prove it or not. Because by definition, we could say a conspiracy is you start by a conclusion and then you prove that conclusion. Unlike where you ask questions and then you find your findings up there. So if I would say I categorize all of them under same level, then I would say that maybe some of those conspiracies that we are saying, for example, not sure who mentioned that we just we don't have you mentioned what plastic rice, for example. Is it that we don't have it yet, or we still haven't been able to prove that it's there? So that would be my question first.
Yeah, we have not yet managed to prove it's there. Maybe there is, just the way Emastro have said. Rashid, do you have something to you can proceed?
Yes. So if for example you're saying we haven't proved them yet, should we then just dismiss them or still continue looking for evidence instead of saying this is a conspiracy and this is this conspiracy is true, but this one is not, because it's just a theory, we just discard it instead of looking for more evidence. I do believe, I haven't researched on it yet, there are some that were theories before and now they are not. Hopefully I'm not taking
in that, I think Rashid, on that I am trying to understand that you mean the burden of proof is the one who is claiming.
Then should we support them looking for evidence, or do we? Okay, let me then make it easier. The burden of proving whether it's a theory or not falls on the person who came up with it, and not our responsibilities to fact check or find out if it is or
not. That's why I'm asking. For example, I don't know which analogy I will. For example, if somebody claim a certain medicine bring a certain problem or cause a cancer in a human, should we just say it's just a conspiracy, or should we prove does not cause before we confirm whether it's a conspiracy, or should we just wait for that person to prove to us?
They already brought whatever evidence they think there is on their end. So it's up to us. Well, as I think so, we should be looking into it more, not just discarding it. This is false. You haven't given us more evidence, or you haven't given us liquid evidence to state that this is now a conspiracy and not a theory. Maybe I should end my questioning there. I do see other people have their hands up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, helping us to involve in a critical thinking about those things, or about those terms, or about understanding those about the conspiracy. So let's hear from Dorcas. But before Dorcas, you say I will just also ask about for example, Racine have mentioned about the plastic rice or plastic egg. Should we take it as conspiracy or what? Or should we wait those who claim there is to prove to us, or should we take our time to confirm whether there is those kind of the egg before we conclude there isn't? And that I think is the same like asking people, because have come with a claim there is devil or there is a God, should we just continue searching before we conclude we don't see any God or any devil, even if we will live forever looking? Thank you. Let's hear from Dorcas.
Okay, I'll answer that question at the end of my contribution. Let me begin with the meat of that previous question on government conspiracies, because I have a lot to say on it. Government conspiracies, I think, are are a dime a dozen in history. Right here in Kenya, colonialism, not the act itself, because everybody knew that Britain was colonizing Kenya, East Africa, Africa, India, etc. Everybody knew that. And it took the land of the natives. That was an open thing. What became a conspiracy was the extent of torture that took place under the colonial regime. Here in Kenya, just before independence, the colonial government hid the documents, administrative documents, of what was happening in some of the camps that it had created, because it took natives, especially in central Kenya, and took them to these camps. It removed them from their ancestral land. And then when they were in those camps, they were engaging in, they were put under forced labor, and they were tortured. There were cases of people's balls being squeezed. There were cases of women who report being violated by bottles. You know, it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous what was happening in the colonial regime, but they were hiding this. That's where now the conspiracy comes in. They were hiding this from the rest of the world, the extent of torture that was occurring. Even though it was documented, they took those papers back with them to Britain, and then they put them in a secret vault. However, it's called the Hanslope. The Hanslope disclosure occurred, which revealed the extent of this problem. There were about 1,500 files on 37 British colonies, and the torture, the murder, etc., the rape that was occurring in those camps was revealed. This is why in 2013, the British government gave reparations, gave compensation to some 5,000 people, some former colonized people. So that conspiracy is indeed real. Another one, of course, is government repression. In Kenya, it is a pattern. In the Jomo Kenyatta government, we had him repressing threatening figures. Someone like Tom Mboya was floated to be a significant rival. He was bold, he had international connections, he had oratory skills. So Jomo Kenyatta felt threatened by this individual, and he was shot. He was shot. The gunman called John Joroge was arrested, and he was prosecuted immediately, then given a life sentence. The matter was closed. However, before he was executed, he said, "Why don't you go after the big man, the one who gave me the orders?" Yeah, and that left many looking back at it and thinking that indeed there might have been ties to the government of the day because he was a direct threat. Of course, the line is thin here on this particular one about whether it is a conspiracy theory or a conspiracy, but I think that eyewitness testimony speaks to it. And of course, the motive, who would have the motive to kill this individual. During the Moi regime, we had Nyayo House. If you criticized the president, now for him, it wasn't just you being a political threat. If you were just critical of the government, you could be huddled into a vehicle and taken to those torture chambers. There was a teacher called Patrick Onyango who was in class. There were some uniformed police in 1986 who just showed up, arrested him, not arrested him, but put him in a vehicle, and then they took him to Nyayo House and they tortured him. But he survived and was able to speak about it. That's how we know that it had been happening. Apart from that, this continues on into current regimes. During the anti-finance bill protest, we had enforced disappearances and cases of torture. Yeah, somebody's telling me to watch my back. Yeah, Nisawa, we will all die at some point. There's a gentleman called Joshua Okayo. I know you know the big names, Rex Masai and all that, but I'm going to mention this particular one because he hasn't gotten a lot of airtime. Joshua Okayo was kidnapped and tortured. Joshua Okayo was speaking a lot against the government, holding them to account, saying all these negative things. And he had even been warned, watch your back. Watch your back. Security forces, the government agents or whatever are on your trail. And then on 26th June, remember the protest took place on 24th. So on 26th June of 2024, he was abducted, put into the back of a car, and then he was tortured. He almost lost himself, and then he was abandoned near a river where villagers came. He knew because he had been warned that they're coming to get you. He had written his brother's number. So they called his brother. Luckily, he was alive, but he was able to reveal what was happening. You see, yet the government keeps saying that it doesn't do that. It doesn't oppress its citizens. It doesn't abduct or torture its citizens. Yet we have witnesses, survivors who are talking about this, and there's motive because these are individuals who are anti-government, and they had been using their social media platforms to enforce that same goal. So let me stop there because we had said we'll not go beyond 5 minutes per contribution. I'll not be able to answer Rashid's question, but I would refer him to the beginning of our discussion because we delineated those differences. The confusion he's experiencing would vanish if he listened, if he had joined us at the beginning of the meeting. So I don't want to continue any further. I've talked too much.
Yeah, fine. That is good. So I can see the Jim is just saying another conspiracy about the fake Jews controlling the mainstream media, and they program our mind into falling for their lies. And he also say about the real conspiracy is rebelling Hitler as a bad guy. I think that is a matter of the opinions. But about the fake Jews, yes, I don't know whether it's fake Jews or is only that the Jews have intermarried with the other people. So maybe it's half. We call them what? Yeah, they are just meet up. So it's hard to know who are the real Jews, or they just they intermarry with the other people and they all claim they are Jews. But they are, because of most of them, they are wealthy, they are able to control the media, or they are able to control the globally. So with their either lie or truth. I will not say whether it's lie or it's truth, but they have say in our world, or especially in US. They can be able to control the US because even according to the data, the government of US have a huge debt of those billionaires, who most of them are from Jews. Let's hear from Ryoki. Then we move to our last topic because we have only 10 minutes or 15 minutes remaining.
Thank you. For me, I'll mention the Iraq war. Saddam Hussein. For George Bush to go to Iraq, he looked for excuses. Saddam wasn't good, but they used for excuses to attack Iraq. So the Iraq and American war was, they made Saddam look more bad than he really was, so they can attack Iraq. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, that is fine. Now let's move to corporate. The real conspiracy from the corporate. I think those conspiracies is a result of the competition in the global market. So let's finalize with the corporate. real conspiracy incorporate. And thank you, Dorcas, you will be able to mention several real conspiracy from the government. Yeah, like about the big tobacco, which was around between 1990s and 2006. Internal memo proof company knowingly they lied about the addictiveness and the health risk of cigarette for decades. But later it was proven. So that was a conspiracy that was propagated by that companies, by those companies, so that the customer may continue consuming the tobacco. So they just say the tobacco have no those risks, but later it was confirmed they were propagating or they were giving conspiracy so that they may able to retain the customer or to get more customer to buy their tobaccos from their companies. That is also an example of corporate real conspiracy. Yeah, let's hear from Morioki, then Dorcas. And we have around 10 minutes.
I had Coca-Cola used to put cocaine. Coca-Cola, they accused of putting cocaine in the Coca-Cola so you can be addicted. So I don't know if that's true about Coca-Cola, that they put cocaine in the drink so you can be addicted. That was also a conspiracy theory. I don't know if it's true or not. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So trying to fight the company for making money or from selling the Coca-Cola by those conspiracy, or maybe it's a fact, it's not a conspiracy. So let's hear from Dorcas.
All right. Now, I wanted to respond to what Jimmy has been typing on the chat. What you are doing is you're giving a conspiracy theory. That idea that there's a shadowy group of Jews who dominate the media and who exaggerate their victimhood. You know, he's trying to play down the Holocaust. You know, there's even a group of people who are Holocaust deniers. They claim that the Holocaust never happened. I hope, Jimmy, you do not belong to that category, because that would be a conspiracy theory. Now, the conspiracy theory is the one that is unsupported. The conspiracy is supported. As I said, there are several examples showing that the Holocaust, several independent, different types of evidence that show that the Holocaust occurred. Maybe we can debate the number. Yeah, maybe we can debate the number, but it happened. So this one of the Jews controlling the world, creating a new world order, that one we don't have evidence for it. You give us evidence. Because if you don't, then that's a conspiracy theory. I think Rashid is saying he's debating the numbers. For me, that is not important at this point, is whether it happened or not. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Now, on the question that Rashid was asking, should we dismiss somebody who makes a claim as a conspiracy theory and let it go? No. If somebody makes a claim, if people come and say that vaccines, the ones you give to children, you give to infants, cause autism, that is a conspiracy theory if they're just making the claim. But scientists, medics, need to investigate that claim. And several papers have been done several researches in different parts of the world have been done on many conspiracy theories, and they have been debunked. Those conspiracy theories have been debunked. The ones that were not debunked, the ones that turned out to be true, the conspiracy theories that turned out to be true are now real conspiracies because they have evidence. And always go, one thing that will protect you in this world of scammers is the skeptic mantra. The time to believe a claim is when there is evidence and not a moment sooner. Otherwise, you will fall for every idea under the sun. Somebody will come and tell you the earth is flat. Okay, I believe you. Or somebody will tell you we have reptilian men that are controlling everything. They are not providing you with evidence of the same. And in fact, many conspiracy theories are unfalsifiable. If you don't find evidence, they double down and say it's because the powerful elite are hiding that evidence. You see, it's unfalsifiable. So that's how you differentiate the two. Now let me get back to the prompt, which is corporate conspiracies. Yes, you are right, Stano, on the one about tobacco, because they hid the addictive nature of tobacco and they hid its relation to cancer because of corporate interests. They wanted to keep the profits to themselves. They were looking bad. Similarly, I would cite the sugar industry. I think in the 1960s, there were a lot of medical ethical malpractices, because still in the 1960s, there were claims that sugar is not as bad or is not to blame for heart disease, whereas fat is the main culprit. So the sugar industry funded researchers to downplay the effect of sugar on our heart health. And they even hid documents, scientific documents that had been found to show this correlation. And then that was very problematic. It informed policy, and many people made unhealthy dietary choices because of it. Another one I would say is planned obsolescence. Your smartphone will have batteries that stop working after a short time, and you can't easily replace them, like they are glued into the case. You either have to go to the supplier, to their outlets, or you have to buy a new device altogether. We know this for light bulbs. We know this even for other non-electronic household items like furniture. Our furniture does not last as long as our grandparents' furniture used to last. They used to pass it on to generations. I bought this chair about 3 years ago, but it is wiggling. You know, things are not built to last because the manufacturers want you to keep coming back to them to buy new stuff. Even fast fashion, they use low quality materials to make the clothes in order for you to keep buying new ones. The quality has deteriorated over generations, and this has really become a serious problem in terms of wastage, you know, environmental wastage, because we are throwing those clothes in the landfill, and we are also spending a lot of money to buy stuff that could last longer if the manufacturers made quality items. I know I've spoken for long. Let me keep it there. Thank you.
Yeah, that is fine. That is good. So anyone else want to contribute about corporate? Yeah, as we say in the all are a conspiracy, but it's only that we are differentiating between real conspiracy and the unfounded conspiracy, or the speculative, or fringe, or propaganda. Maybe we can also term them as propaganda. The thing that have no evidence base versus the thing that have evidence base. Yeah, all our conspiracy, we agree with that, but the real is the where we get the evidence, like that of tobacco, that of Watergate, about the political conspiracy involving illegal break-in and their cover-up, right up to the US president level, proven by audio tape and the whistleblower. Those are the evidence-based conspiracy. So let's hear from Morioki, and we are just ending. So in case there is anyone who want to say something, the time is now, because I wanted to close by 9:35.
Yeah, I can add maybe a junk food. They say junk food, they put things to get you addicted. Yeah, so even junk food, there are theories about they're putting things to make you buy more junk food. So thanks.
So I want to understand about that.
Yeah, junk food. They say they put things on junk food to make you get more, to buy more. These are, it tastes so sweet. So you want to eat more and more of junk food. So they put things on it
So
that are dangerous.
according to
And
you,
they don't care. Yeah.
yeah, is that a real conspiracy or just a conspiracy?
Yeah, for junk food, I think it's real. Because when you eat them, you always want more. You always want to buy more of junk food. So that's real for me. There's real evidence because you always want to eat more junk food, which is harmful to your body.
Morioki, I normally eat porridge, and when I eat porridge 1 cup, I always finding myself wanting another cup, after another cup, until my stomach is full, and yet I'm still wanting to eat another porridge. So I don't know whether there is something that is put in a porridge.
Which one is this? Which porridge is this? Which kind of porridge is this? Is it natural or it has those chemicals I've added?
According to you, it's just a natural. Yeah. Although we cannot say something is natural, because even the maize that we are harvesting, it's somehow we have put some chemical and some scientific modification, but it's natural according to what you define natural, because it's millet. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Like for junk food, there's something. Junk food, you can shida.
So when you have appetite, there is a problem.
No, you don't eat more.
Let's hear from.
Food, but you don't eat. Okay.
Do you have evidence
Okay.
for that, Muriuki? Do you have evidence for that?
Yeah. Do you eat junk food? You want to eat more. It makes you want to eat more. You get full and you want to eat more and more.
Have you?
That's just.
Is that evidence from? Do you eat junk food and want more for you yourself?
Yeah, I stopped. I had to stop because I
But you
thought I had
don't
to
drink.
stop. I had to stop. Crisps. This is my crisps.
Okay.
All these things.
That is good. I think
if it is addictive, then you wouldn't
answer.
have stopped. If it was addictive, you wouldn't have stopped.
I think the appropriate answer for Morioki is just Morioki to say, I have empirical evidence. So I have evidence from my friends who have been eating. Because when you say you are the one, and we know how you reject those kind of foods, we will be skeptical about that. So let's hear from Papsi.
Hi, am I audible on your end, Stano?
Yeah, you are clear.
Okay, thank you. So first, I'd love to say hi to you, folks. It's been a while. I've kind of missed you all, but I'm kind of back. So I've missed most of your discussions, and also I'm not really good at this particular topic, but there's one conspiracy that I wouldn't say that I believe it, but I'd want it to be true. And that is one for aliens. I know it's an non-sequitur, but bear with me. So at the place I work, we have a section for drones. So they tend to deal with drones. There's one day we were checking some of the drones, And then there's a question I have always wanted to know, if we can have something like an orb. An orb is something like a ball that just floats around. So it doesn't have like propellers and all that. So I asked the people, the pilots and the engineers, if such a thing is possible. None of them showed me something interesting. There's an orb that appeared. It was okay. It was the video for that orb was taken by two different people, and so some conspiracy theorists they were called to like research on it. And the way that thing was moving, we don't have like that advanced technology to have such a thing to move like the way that one was doing. And the orb itself, they had it. There's a lot of documentaries about it. And the way it was moving is exactly how I was picturing how I'd want an orb to move around. And so I've never really, okay, I know the Pentagon has released some stuff on UFO or UAVs, that is unidentified aerial vehicles or phenomenon, or say unidentified flying objects. But none of that really sounded cool. But this one, it really was cool. So I went to kind of do some research, read more on it. And so that guy who showed me that thing told me that for this thing to be possible, we'd need to have a technology called 0 point energy. Basically, we don't have such a technology because it's so advanced. And I don't think, given the physics that we know as of yet, allows us to create such a technology for you to have an orb that can move like that without propellants, those wings moving around. So the gist of what I'm trying to say is that I don't know for sure, but I'd really be happy if we had aliens around. I mean, Earth is kind of boring. It's the same things over and over. So I'd really love to have something, I mean, the universe is so big, so big, that even I, given how much documentaries I've watched on the universe and how big it is, I can't really fathom it. So I'm like, there really has to be some life out there. Um, there's a certain paradox called the Fermi paradox. And then there's an equation called the Drake's equation that tries to justify the Fermi paradox. That given how big the universe is, the statistics says that there has to be life somewhere out there. And I knew that thing could be Pandora's box. And so I stopped like researching on it because I really didn't want to go that deep. But yeah, that is one of the conspiracies I'd say, especially on that orb that I'm really curious about. I mean, you people should also check out on it. It's so interesting because the things those people say about that thing, it's so mind-boggling. And if you are a technologist like me, you'd be like, can you really create something like that? I mean, I know given time, and especially there's a certain theory called the theory of everything, that if we were to get our hands on such a theory, any tech that you see now would be like, I don't know, E-class, because what we would be able to create with such a theory, so mind-boggling. But yeah, glad to be here. Bye.
Yeah, that's good. So you have talked about many issues, about the 4 Pandora boards and so on. So about the theory of everything, that I think the science are still working on it. So we cannot just say it's a conspiracy or not, because it's just a part of the research, or the science are trying to work on that to see whether they can get the general formula for everything. So I think I am not familiar about science, so I just listen to the experts, whatever they say, and then try to compare to see whether they contradict each other and who is near the truth. Let's conclude our meeting because of the time. Dorcas, you can just conclude the meeting on my behalf.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. That was very well done. At least today, we are close to our goal of keeping the meeting within 1 hour, even though Papsi at the very last minute almost took us down a rabbit hole. I will not even respond to that issue because aliens are a very controversial topic. Thank you all who participated. Besides the moderator, that was Morioki. I had a little bit from El Maestro. We also listened to Rashid, and I think a little bit on the chat. There was a Jim. Maybe today he was not able to speak audibly into the mic. Thank you all. Please look out for our announcement tomorrow on our Hangout, which will be on the 9th of July. I wish you guys a lovely night, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Bye.
Dorcas,
Good night, Papsi. Tupatane kwa WhatsApp.
Bye.